A wild report just came out by Ben-Nicholson Smith regarding Shohei Ohtani to the Toronto Blue Jays, and this report highlighted some crazy details regarding the actual truth behind what happened, as well as highlighting that sources told Ben that the deal might have even been done as of Friday before he ended up choosing the Dodgers. You're going to want to stay tuned for this wild episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? It's Gosse, your host of Jays Digest, and this is a wild video today. It's our second upload of the day. Ben-Nicholson Smith went on Sportsnet Fan 590, the radio show, and revealed some wild details. We're starting to kind of get some of the truth behind Shohei Ohtani to the Toronto Blue Jays and what happened on Friday. But before we do get into that, a quick reminder to hit the subscribe button. About 72% of you guys who are watching right now aren't subscribed. So if you aren't subscribed, scroll down and hit that button. It would mean the world to me and Peter. All right, let's get right into the video. So, like I just said, I thought this Ohtani stuff was coming to an end. He's about to be a Dodger officially as of either tonight or tomorrow. But more and more details keep getting revealed. And this stuff is still very relevant as it kind of goes to show the process behind what Ross Atkins was thinking on Friday when all this news was going down. And a lot of Jays fans, including myself, are still wondering what happened. And there's also some crazy conspiracy theories that are going on. So let's start with what came out today. So there's a few different conspiracy theories going on, and this was a big report from Ben-Nicholson Smith. He said he was just on Fan 590, and to paraphrase, again, I recommend you guys listen to the actual pod, but he said there seemed to be real mutual interest with Ohtani. How close they actually were is unclear because the Jays front office is still tight-lipped, and then it goes on to say that one source said a deal was done with the Blue Jays on Friday, but he couldn't get corroboration, so he didn't post about it. And it's unclear if the source was secondary Toronto source or from the LA side. Now, this is super interesting information. You saw a couple screenshots there regarding some of the conspiracy theories, which we'll get into in a minute. But this just came out, and we finally had Ben-Nicholson Smith speaking out on what he thinks happened. Now, if you saw our video a couple days ago, I mentioned that Ken Rosenthal also went on, I believe, the MLB Network and said the same thing about this specific part where it said one source said a deal was done with the Jays. Ken Rosenthal also heard that. John Morosi heard that. And supposedly JP Hornstra of the Dodgers Nation article also heard the same thing. So someone somewhere, and Ben-Nicholson Smith included, believed that a deal was done. Ohtani was going to the Blue Jays on Friday, but they didn't post it because they wanted to have multiple sources confirm it. And luckily for Ben, he didn't post it because it ultimately wasn't true. Now, this is very, very interesting. So whether you think the Jays were used for leverage or not is kind of up to you. Ben-Nicholson Smith seems to think that the mutual interest was real. But again, we're not really going to know how close they were to getting Ohtani. I don't think ever. But this is huge news as it's a bit of a punch to the gut if you're a Jays fan. I didn't like reading it. I mean, to hear that Ben-Nicholson Smith got a text from a source saying that he is going to be a Blue Jay breaks my heart because that's what we were all thinking on Friday when the flight stuff was going down. But ultimately, maybe it was kind of a leverage play, and they told Ben-Nicholson Smith that. They told a bunch of reporters that, and they were going to see which one posted it first so they could get the offer upped by the Los Angeles Dodgers. If you saw our video from earlier today, it was reported that Shohei Ohtani was offered around $700 million from the Toronto Blue Jays as well, and that offer was not only, it wasn't super far away. It was very close to the Los Angeles Dodgers offer. Ultimately, he just chose to be a Los Angeles Dodgers, and as we all know, respect to him for being a Dodger, but this was very interesting, and what he had to say here was very, very interesting, especially the part about, of course, mutual interest and the actual deal supposedly being done. I can't believe the whirlwind that went on that day in this report, and these reports just keep getting crazier and crazier, and unfortunately, as close as we were to getting him supposedly, I still don't know if we were just used for leverage and if they were telling reporters like Ben-Nicholson Smith this information just so they could try to get the Dodgers offer up, because it seems like the Dodgers is where Ohtani wanted to be all along. Now, we can go into some more reports and some more speculation and some conspiracy theories about this, as hopefully this is probably our last video on the Ohtani situation, unless new reports keep coming up. Maybe Ross Atkins will speak out on them, but this is... Here's some of the conspiracy theories. So some people are saying that Ohtani picked the Dodgers months ago and that CAA orchestrated a perfect plan to raise excitement over the flight with one of their clients on it, had John Morrissey report it, and then scared the Dodgers into dishing out another $100 million. Am I going insane? And then there was various posts about it. I'm only bringing this up because it blew up on Twitter. I'm curious to see what you all think in the comment section. People are basically saying, putting all the Ohtani pieces together, it looks like Ohtani hoped to land with the Dodgers. The agent likely wasn't getting the initial money figure he wanted, did. So someone in Ohtani's camp leaked that he was signing with the Jays and he was traveling to Toronto. And then after those leaks, the Dodgers ultimately thought they were going to lose him, had an emergency meeting on Friday, and then came up to the $700 million, which presumably the Jays either matched after the Dodgers said they were getting there, or maybe the Jays were offering $700 million from the start and the Dodgers were at $550 or $600 and they had to give that extra $100 to get to the $700 million. But regardless, these conspiracy theories are a bit wild, but it almost makes sense with the amount of reports that came out about Ohtani to the Blue Jays. You had JP Hornstra, part of the Baseball's Writing Association. Not that that means anything anymore, apparently, because Morrissey is also a part of that. But we also had other articles from the Daily Mail, from fairly reliable LA reporters there. So many people within Los Angeles believed that he was going to be a Blue Jay, which means and screams that maybe CAA, which is Ohtani's agency, leaked that to Ohtani's agent, leaked it to the LA reporters to ultimately rise the price up to get the Dodgers to pay the same what the Blue Jays were, which was $700 million. And I think whether you believe you can either think they were used for leverage or that he was actually going to sign with the Jays at the $800 or $700 million figure, but the Dodgers came in last second and scooped it up. And that's what it's seeming like based off what Ben-Nicholson Smith said. He's making it seem like they were not used for leverage as much as I initially thought, which I would have rather them rather them used for leverage, but I would rather kind of just know that they were never really close as opposed to actually right there in it. And that's just my emotional side speaking, because realistically, getting as close as we did to Shohei Ohtani is a wonderful sign for the organization. It's a wonderful sign going forward. It's a great sign for Ross Atkins. We cannot be mad at Ross Atkins that he missed out on Ohtani. He did every single thing in his power. He convinced Rogers and Ed Rogers to get up to that $700 million figure. Maybe if they would have won 800, they would have got him. But it all kind of collaborates and correlates with this. And again, this kind of all goes from the point and from a report from Todd Verducci, where he said on Friday reports broke that Ohtani's signing was imminent and that he was heading to Toronto. The Dodgers didn't know that. They held meetings Friday night, worried, and then ultimately raised their offer. So it's seeming like from a lot of credible guys within the industry that the Dodgers put in some Hail Mary offer, which is $700 million, maybe matching the Jays, maybe exceeding the Jays, to get Ohtani to sign. And I've been kind of on this path the whole time. I think based on what we know, all things being equal, he would choose the Dodgers, but if the Jays had a much better offer or much better other reasons, Ohtani would have ultimately chose the Jays, which I think is where he was standing Friday before he turned his mind and the Dodgers completely upped their offer there. And this is the final thing I'll throw in. This was an updated article by JP Hornstra of Dodgers Nation. Whether it was completely fabricated or not, I don't know. I don't really trust JP Hornstra anymore because he said the Dodgers were not signing Ohtani, but he basically went on to say that on Friday we reported that Shohei had decided to join the Blue Jays. Not only were we confident in the information based on the quality of our sourcing, but we received no contradictory information from their sources over the next 24 hours or others until the Dodgers announced on his Instagram that Ohtani announced that he was going to the Dodgers. And this second paragraph is interesting. We know some of what changed in the span of one day. Following our initial report, the Dodgers made one last offer, representing a significant increase from their previous offer, and Ohtani formally accepted that offer in the Friday night meeting. In some corners of front offices in Toronto and Los Angeles, the expected outcome of the biggest free agent pursuit in baseball history shifted 180 degrees. And I'm really hoping that's not the case, because Shohei Ohtani, that means that we were this close. He had agreed to it, and then he switched because the Dodgers made that Hail Mary Godfather offer. But ultimately, I'm over it. I wanted to get this out there because it just dropped. He was just on the radio show, Fan 590, and I'm just really hoping that we can all move on and hopefully get some more bats now. We need to get Chapman. We need to look at Jorge Soler. We need to look at Cody Bellinger, maybe explore some trades. Luis Robert, one of those guys. Luis Robert. There's so many people out there that we can go out and get. But regarding the Ohtani stuff, it seems like we were either used for leverage completely or we were so very close to getting the Japanese two-way superstar. But that'll wrap up the video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I know it's a bit of a hurting one because we were so close, but I wanted to get all the information out there so you guys can make your own decision. Let me know in the comment section below what you think happened. Were we used for leverage or were we close to getting the dream player of Shohei Ohtani? Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.